1.3, modeling with linear equations. Modeling, kind of like modeling clay. Modeling is like real world scenarios. Now, if you haven't looked at 1.3, I would give you a whirl. Maybe look to see how far 1.3 is and what's all in it. And if you did it so right now, you will notice that it is all word problems. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to just do A from each one of these examples. I still am going to do B, but I'm not going to go through it. I'm going to show you the answer and we'll be going through it in class. We'll be doing the B sections in class because I do realize that a lot more students struggle with word problems. So when you're doing a word problem, first read the question before you do anything. A lot of times people will underline things that they feel like it might be beneficial, but you don't want to be underlining the whole paragraph or the whole question. So you accept a job with an annual income. So I'm going to write that. This is my income right away at the beginning. It includes your salary and year-round and bonus of $500. So again, this includes the $500. You're paid twice. That's a two, twice a month. What is your gross input before taxes? If you have never worked before and you don't know what taxes due to a paycheck, then I'm sorry for your future when you realize for each paycheck. So we have to kind of work this through. So when you're doing a word problem, you should try to think of what's my overall goal? What am I trying to get to? Well, I'm trying to see how much one paycheck is. Okay. Now, typically, information won't be given to you that I'm not going to use. So I have to try to think, okay, why was this there? Well, that's just a year-end bonus. No matter what, this is just $500. I get that right at the end. That's not in this twice a month. So I'm going to take that away. So I'm going to take this 32,300. Oops, what am I doing? Extra zero minus 500. So this is how much my yearly is without the bonus. 31,800. Okay, now I have to think, okay, that's if I added all the paychecks that I get throughout the whole year. Then I have to think, okay, how many months are in a year? There are 12 months in a year, so I'm going to divide this by 12. This is how much money I would make in 1 month. So that will be 2,650. Well, it tells me I get paid twice a month. So because I get paid twice a month, I have to divide that by 2. So that divided by 2 is 1,325. So that would be my answer. Now, some people might write out a full equation and solve the equation. We solved an equation with our unknown, just without a typical format. So I want you to pause the video and try to do B by yourself. Your answer should be $1,100. Again, we'll go over that one in class. So looking at example 2. So you accept a job that pays $10 per hour after a 2-month probationary period. So I guess I should underline that, per hour. It will be increased to $11 per hour. What percent increase did you have? What is your percent raise? That's the increase after 2 months. So think about it this way. I have this $10. That's how much I get paid. When I do a percent raise or a percent increase or decrease by that matter, it would be multiplied by something. We did 10 multiplied by something to get our new outcome. So this is the equation I'm going to solve. Now, once I solve this, I'm like, oh, I just divide by 10. Great. So this would be 1.1. Well, 2 things here. This 1 is the original. So this isn't the percent increase. That's already including the 1. This 0.1 is the percent increase, but this is not a percent. How do I do a percent? You do 2 points to the right. So I'm not going to include this 1. I'm including this percent. So I got a 10% raise. I want you to pause the video and try to do B by yourself. Should have got 20% increase. Example 3. I'm not going to read this, so you should read it through. Pause the video and read it if you haven't already. But it's asking you to represent your family's your monthly expenses. You're looking for what percent is your monthly expenses. Well, a couple of things. You're not in the same units. This is an annual income. These are your monthly expenses. So first we should try to find our monthly income. So if I'm looking for my monthly income, how many months in a year? Oh, there's 12. So if we divide this by 12, our monthly income is $4,750. Now these are expenses. This is what we have to pay for each and every month. So if they're expenses, we have to subtract that from there. And if we subtract that, we have 2,520. However, did you see what I did wrong? I'm looking for the percent of your family's annual income, the expenses. So this is actually how much is not the expense. Okay, that's the amount of money that we get to do whatever we feel like with. If we were to add the expenses up, all these numbers up, the expenses are 2,230. So if we're looking for a percent, our annual income percent, we're going to take our expenses. This is our intended outcome. So this is kind of like probability. Our intended outcome, which is 2,230, that's our expenses over our total monthly income. Our total monthly income is the 4,750. So if I were to write that down, that's 0.469, and I'm going to round this to 5. I would like to always have 4 decimal spots, but when we're looking at a percent, it would be 46.95%. Pause the video and try to do B by yourself. You should have gotten 64,000 was your family's annual income after taxes. Example 4, kitchen twice as long as it is wide. Twice as long as is wide. So if you want to draw this out, it's saying that this is how wide it is, even though this is not drawn quite, but this is twice as long as it is wide. So that would be like 2W right there. Because 2 times this is twice as long as it is wide. That's what this is saying in a visual picture. So the total perimeter is 84. Well, perimeter is when I add up these all. So it'd be 2W plus W plus 2W plus W, which is 6W. And it's saying your perimeter is 84. So if I divide that by 6, I would get my width is 14 feet. Well, the length is twice as long, so this would be 14 feet. I know it's feet because of this right here. 14 feet by 28 feet. That would be my final answer. Try to do the next one by yourself. You should have got 14 feet by 42 feet. Next one, again, pause the video and read it. So it looks like we have the total distance right here, and it tells us it took 3 hours to get here. So we can use this 3 hours and the miles to figure out how many miles per hour that we are flying. This is how many hours, this is how many, or miles, this is how many hours. So the plane is flying 480 miles per hour. So if we look at this, this is our total now. So we want to see how many times does 480 fit into that total. So if we take our 2,170 miles and divide it by the 480, this is how many miles it would take. It would take roughly 4.25 hours. Now, this is something you have to be very aware of. The 0.52 is not 52 minutes. If we want to change this into minutes, we'd have to take the 60 minutes in an hour and multiply that by 0.52. So you could have also said that this is 4 hours and 31 minutes, and then there would be a 0.2. Actually, there's a 31.2 minutes on there. I want you to try the B by yourself. You should have got 1.4 hours. So the next one, I want you to try to pause it and draw a picture of the scenario. So it looks something like this. First thing I notice is that we're not on the same units. We had to change inches to feet. You should be in the same unit. So in this case, how many feet or inches are in a foot? There's 12 inches. So 6 inches would be 1/2 foot. Now we're comparing two different things. We can have the height over the shadow. So that's my building, would be equal to my height over the shadow. Now this is comparable to your geometry whenever you took geometry. I'm going to get rid of both sides of that division, so I'm going to multiply by that division because I don't want that division anymore. However, I still have that division because of that 1/2. So to get that x, that height of the Chicago center in Chicago, I'm going to have to multiply that by 2. And you have to know your units here. So my units are in feet, 1,136 feet. Try to do B by yourself. You should have got 122.22 feet. And that's where we're going to end this video. We will be doing these problems in class because a lot of times, again, when we talk about simple interest, there's a lot of vocab that you might not understand here. So that's all. Have a wonderful day.